Good day. Welcome to Daily Critical. Please like and subscribe. Today, a brief rundown of the Trump-Putin call, March 18th, 2025. On March 11th, at Jeddah, it was established that Ukraine accepted America as their agent of mediation in regards to seeking a temporary ceasefire in the Ukraine-Russia conflict. This allowed the American delegation to move forward on several fronts without involvement from Europe, UK, or any other nation. Indeed, American officials have referred to this as their proxy war, and now negotiating its cessation alone seems to solidify that belief. This was the second call between Putin and Trump, with intervening diplomatic meetings of American and Russian establishing a continued process. Mass media outlets have continued to support the narrative, whereby peace is resisted by Russia in the Ukrainian conflict, going so far as to suggest that Russia's final word is only a partial agreement, and that even that has been reneged upon in the last few hours, so strong is the desire to vilify Russia. The reality comes from a deeper understanding of the diplomatic peace process. A quick glance at the details presented regarding the notes of the call released by the respective governments details that Russia and America are still in the process of reestablishing relations. This is in fact a normal and correct starting point. Earlier meetings in Saudi Arabia had established that Ukraine entrusted America to negotiate a peace deal on its behalf, and the next steps continue to follow the path of establishing diplomatic trust, identifying key negotiant categories, and relegating those categories to a compartmentalized approach. It's a start slow, feeling out process, more so than in other conflicts, as past agreements have gone poorly for Russia, with European governments officials now publicly admitting that they deceived Russia with the Minsk agreements that sought to stave off conflict, or were in truth secretly orchestrated to prime Ukraine for war. Indeed, it was cautiously spelled out in the meeting directly that a peace agreement with a resulting steady rearming of Ukraine, as well as the risk associated with Kiev government's duplicity, was a major stumbling block. Russia, it seems, has severe concerns. Russia and America at this point agreed on the war in principle should have been avoided, simply establishing a common understanding that negates the exclusive blame for the war on any one party. There will no further targeting of energy infrastructure in Russia or the Ukraine. On the face of it, an agreement that minimizes the degradation of civilian infrastructure, supporting the majority of industry and urban collateral concerns, is beneficial for both sides in restricting the conflict to the military. The Black Sea will be open to commercial transit, free from targeting. This was not an active theater of conflict, at least not as much as one might think, and was probably easy for Russia to agree to. Commercial shipping and trade routes being a recurring theme of the American foreign policy, vis-a-vis Panama, the Northern Arctic, even the Houthi conflict more recently. However, in this case, it's an easy initial give to further a sense of diplomatic willingness. A prisoner exchange will take place, a simplistic humanitarian effort that signals a willingness to understand that there is a coming close to the conflict. It's interesting to note that a portion of the 2 hours was devoted to economics and trade, some of which included Ukraine and some of which included opportunities between Russia and America exclusively. This while Russia continues to be fully sanctioned by a large group of Western countries, including America, and even as American tariffs on nearly every single Western European ally take place. Certainly this is indicative of a continental shift and divide in Western position, as it's likely the most remarkable part of this call's continued negotiation. The niceties of the dialogue included opportunities for a hockey tournament between the USA and Russia, the twist being a team of NHL players entertaining games against the domestic Russian league players in the KHL. While there was some discussion regarding Iran, whereby Americans sought diplomatic assistance in constraining that country's ability to influence conflicts in the region, it was not made a component of the primary peace negotiation process, establishing it a further discussion point in the normalization of relations. This again speaks to a shift in the American diplomatic mindset, where establishing international harmony is a multipolar process and less of a bilateral or unipolar one. The readouts of the conversation prepared by Russia and America, in comparison, in fact, reveal little variance, with the American version shortened on both details and depth. There is no great divergence in outlook or perspective. The takeaway is that the phone meeting was yet another in a series of steps towards peace in the Ukraine, with perhaps a more pragmatic narrative suggesting a willingness to get to normal diplomatic relations and most probably mutually beneficial agreements on trade, commerce, investment, and international stability. The desire to cooperate, generally, was remarked on, pointing out recent American and Russian alignment on a UN vote regarding the Ukraine conflict. The greater sense is that international security as a cooperative task would be realistically entertained. But there is no mistaking the Russian-specific perspective on Ukraine. While there is a willingness to discuss peace and cooperation on a wide range of economic and energy-related ideas, Russia put forth a pointed, serious concern regarding the Ukrainian government's past deceitful approach to agreements. Russia's concerns also included a concern in ensuring control of the frontline ceasefire, the need to stop forced mobilization in the Ukraine, and the rearming of Ukrainian forces. Terrorism was called out as committed by the Ukrainian militants in the Kursk region. A complete stop to foreign military aid and intelligence to Kiev was called out as a key component to stopping military escalation and allowing for political resolution. At the same time, the European Union is struggling to realize its plans toward armament in the belief that America will no longer support the existing war effort in Ukraine, nor any further NATO versus Russia conflicts. Nonetheless, European ministers met to discuss and debate further funding of Kiev. Additional past rhetoric from the EU and UK outlining their resolve in the conflict, providing support and funding, as well as potential actual national forces on the ground, is all in direct conflict with the peace efforts American and Russian delegations are seeking to push forward. Regardless, technical and diplomatic teams from the Ukraine, Russia, and America have been tasked to meet in coming days in Saudi Arabia to further detail the agreed-upon actions of this call and roadmap further developments for a broader peace effort. Thanks for listening to Daily Critical. Please like and subscribe, and comment. Have a good day.